Hey y'all, I'm crossing off 1,000 adventures on a bucket list. Right now, I am working on reading 100 new books, and this is part 2 for The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros, which was a fantastic book. This is a major spoiler alert because part 2 is where I give you all the juicy details and I let you know everything that went on. So if you haven't read the book yet, you really want to, please come back and join us when you have read it and you're good to go. Check out part 1, check out some of my other videos, see what's there. There is a trigger warning that I want to put here as a full disclaimer that this book was very serious and it did deal with child illness. It dealt with loss of a child, loss of family members, graphic war scenes, first responder, first aid, search and rescue scenes that were quite graphic. So if any of those things are not suitable to you at this moment, that is completely fine. Go check out my other content on my page and come back for part 3 just to see what I thought of the book and see what we're reading next. Okay, so delving in, remember we start off with Ella. She's a single mom of twins, a boy and a girl, Maisie and Colt, who we come to love them both. They're lovely. They're 6 years old. And their dad walked out when when Ella found out she was pregnant with twins. Their dad was like, peace, I'm gone. And her brother Ryan is deployed in the military. So Ryan asks Ella to write to his friend who is serving with him, and his call sign or code name is Chaos. She's not allowed to know his actual name until he is out of deployment. Just for safety reasons, so she only knows him as Chaos. Her and Chaos get really, really close. They're writing to each other constantly. They get addicted to each other. Like, it's a really good relationship. Her daughter, Maisie, ends up getting diagnosed with neuroblastoma, a very, very critical cancer, and it's not looking very good. And while she's going through these treatments, her brother Ryan ends up dying on a mission. At this time, she hears nothing more from Chaos, can't get a response to any of her letters, and has to start moving on. So within a short period of time, her daughter's diagnosed, she loses the only family she has left, and her new best friend, essentially, is potentially dead. This is where we flop over to another character whose name is Beckett. And Beckett also is serving with Ryan in the military. And Ryan had left a letter asking Beckett to come to his sister's aid and be there for her if he reaches deployment. Beckett does, as a favor to Ryan, to honor him in his memory. And he entrenches himself against Ella's will because she's like, no, back off. I don't know you. This is creepy. This is weird. But he entrenches himself in her life, in her children's life. They do fall for each other, but he also, importantly, falls for her kids. And not in a creepy way, in like a major dad way. Her son even says to him, like Colt says to Beckett at one point, so this is what it must be like to have a dad. And there's many emotions in this book. Yeah. And he does amazing things for Maisie, and he's always there to help Ella, even when she goes, no, I've got it myself. Any little thing where she's like, oh, I forgot this. He's like, I got it. And over a course of a year, they get really, really close. So close that even though he's not willing to have a relationship with her because he doesn't want to destroy his integrity and honor towards her brother's memory and what he was asked to do, he still asks her to marry him because we find out that Ella's benefits have covered nothing in terms of Maisie's services, like her cancer treatments and things like that. It's covered nothing. It won't cover anything. And so she has been paying for all of this out of pocket around $1 million, and she's drowning in debt. She has no other options. She's tried going to her children's father's family, and there was no help there. So he says, hey, Beckett says, my military benefits will cover this, so let me marry you. And she's like, I'm not going to play that game. We're not going to do fraud. But do you love my kids? And he's, yes. This is very short form conversation as to what happens. The writing's much better. But she says, that if that is the case, she is willing, with the terms of him not telling the children and like with giving her time and space and allowing her to have say still with the kids, she's willing to allow him to adopt her children. And that would give Maisie services, like benefits and things for her treatments. That would give Colt, you know, anything else that he needed. If anything were to happen to him, they're all covered. Obviously, Beckett jumps on this. He's like, yes, we are doing this. And the day actually that they get the adoption cleared and they go through with everything, that is when they decide that they're going to hook up. They're going to get together. This is an adult book. There are adult scenes. Flip at your discretion. But yeah, so they get together. And because of that, it leads to the insurance coming and investigating. And they want to see that Beckett isn't committing insurance fraud by having adopted these kids. And the only way that he can prove that he is doing this in good faith, that he really loves these kids, is by proving that he had prior knowledge and attachment and relationship to these kids before Maisie was diagnosed with cancer. And this is where the bomb drops, because Ella is there with him for this investigation. And yeah, he has to pull out letters that she wrote to him while he was in the military. He has to pull out letters from the children. He has to pull out everything that he has from when he was serving, because Beckett is chaos, as you've probably guessed. He is chaos. So he's spent the entire year entrenching himself in their lives, and lying and saying that, you know, he isn't who he doesn't know what happened to Chaos. And there is so much lying that happened. So much lying. And as you can tell, that makes Ella upset. So I'm running out of time in this one. Well, we might have to do 4 parts for this. Who knows? Who knows? But come back again, like, comment, subscribe to see what happens in the rest of the book.